everyone, it's Celeste and welcome to my channel. My channel is all about cosplay! I teach you tutorials on how to make the outfit, how to do the makeup, so you can become the character of your dreams. Today's video is all about following the instructions, sort of Yaya Han's bunnysuit pattern by McCalls Costumes. It is M7398. I actually finished the garment twice, and now that I've had breast augmentation, I had to make a new one because the other one does not fit my bust size because, you know, they're bigger. Anyways, this is my new bunny suit. I will show you how I made this and follow along, and then, you know, of course, the cute little montage at the end. I'll give you a nice review about it, and that way you stay tuned to the very end so you can see the final details, my thoughts, and feelings. If you're new to my channel, make sure to click that subscribe button so you never miss out on any future cosplay videos. In this video, I do follow most of the instructions provided. I did go a little off course because I don't have all the materials necessary. If you're new to cosplaying, I do recommend you try getting all the materials versus going off on your own. I've been sewing for about 13 years, so if you're not an experienced seamstress, definitely follow this pattern to a T. This pattern is actually pretty easy to follow. It's not difficult. I had to research a few of the words in this pattern because I did not know about it. And feel free to learn something new every day. I just learned about a few things with this pattern. The materials that I used for this was again, my favorite stretch taffeta. I think this one's stretch. Let me double check. Are you stretchy? You're not! Hello! Excuse me for a moment. This is not stretch taffeta. This fabric is regular black taffeta fabric that I got when I was in Los Angeles. I'll leave a link down below if you're interested in seeing that fabric haul so you know where I got it. The lining itself was actually from my European fabric haul. I like it and I used it in another dress video. I'll be linking all the videos down below that have the same fabric so you can see what else I've done with this. If you're interested in more videos like that, make sure to leave me a comment and a like so that I know in the future that you're interested in that kind of content. So, without further ado and making this video too long, let's go ahead and jump in about this pattern. This is what a pattern mess looks like. Using the pattern instructions, I find the pieces that I need and I cut them out. I'm not cutting out specifically the size that I need, but I'm just going to cut around it because I'll cut it out on the fabric. So I'm going to glance over the instructions, seeing what I need to do and prepare and get ready. This is one page and a little bit on the next page. That other part is in Spanish, so I don't need that. Now it's time to take our pattern pieces and pin it to our fabric. I just wanted to show you here. This is the pattern pieces when I pin them down. Some of the places I had to flip upside down, but they're still facing the right grain direction. So you can see that they're overlapping, but they are not going to cut on each other. See? I'm going to be cutting here on the 10 line because I'm a little bit larger than the 8. And now it's time to cut it all out. Alright, so I just got all of my fabrics cut out over here. Woo! All the fabrics are cut out over here. Let's see, step number 1. Base underlining to wrong side of each matching fabric section, leaving both ends thread free for easy removal. Base through all symbols. What the hell is an underlining? I don't know what that is. Okay, let's go check it out. Alright, so underlining, okay. Lining is constructed separately from the garment, attached at the facing hem or areas by hand machine, added to the garment, more warmth needed. Fabric added to fashion fabric from our body capacity. Okay, so let's see, where's this? Alright. What are we looking at? Oh, underlining for A and B. Says it right there. Well, I guess I need some twill. Where am I gonna get some twill? I'll just stand up and look around. Oh! Twill! It's sitting underneath me! Oh joy, now I just gotta cut it all out again! And so here is my twill. It is a nice gray color, and then my lining fabric is now going to be this really nice solid piece of cotton that I used in a different dress video. I thought it would be really fun to have something nice against my body versus like something satiny. I mean, I have other fabrics for it, but I'm just like, I need this for something else. So I won't be using any of these fancier fabrics for it because like this would be great, but I really want to use that for something in the future. As a disclaimer right now, I'm going to tell you that I will not be using interfacing because I don't have any and I don't feel like buying any. So I'm going to continue doing the first part of this project, sewing the underlining to the fabric. Remember, this is not the true lining, this is just a support fabric. I'm going to do this to all the shell pieces. Once I've successfully added the underlining to all of the front pieces, I'm going to go ahead and continue sewing the bodice together. I'm going to join the front center piece together first. And now, following the instructions, I'm ironing down this front center seam. It says to do that, and I just want to give it a nice good press anyways. Now comes the arduous task of finding all the pieces and pinning them together to the front bodice piece. And then I begin sewing it together. When you're done adding the pieces together, make sure to go back to the curved edges and clip where necessary. It says this on the instructions, but I'm going to emphasize this even more. Your garment will not lay flat because the fabric will not stretch accordingly, so you want to cut the tension on the curved edges. Now the instructions say to begin sewing the back part, so I'm going to be sewing the back part and reinforcing this little part here. We want to reinforce it because we want to make sure that it does not break. I just realized something. This was not the correct part and I sewed it wrong, so now I have to go back and seam rip it. Be careful on what you sew, and this is going to be a butt, so now I gotta go take it out. Damn it! So I'm actually just going to make sure that I have the right side, so I'm going to use the pattern piece and sew it down correctly in the same spot and reinforce it. I'm going to reinforce it by sewing to the right of the seam. Now, of course, I'm going to clip that butt curve. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of the back pieces to the back. I just want to make a huge side note. Mine is going to be the B version, so I will be doing a corset lacing in the back. Be careful, the side back and the middle back are very similar and you can get them mixed up. One of the ways that helped me was to make sure that the butt cheek part curved upwards and not awkwardly another way. And then just combine the middle back and the side back together. Now that the back of the bunny suit is all completed, now we want to attach it to the front. So now we just have to line up the sides and then sew it all together. You really want to focus on lining up all the edges and having it at the correct seam length because this is where you're almost done, but you're not done yet. Now we need to make it all over again with the lining. Hey, Celeste here, and I'm just going off of the instructions again. And it's saying that I need to put bias tape in for the boning. Sometimes boning comes with bias tape. Here in Denmark, the boning that I got was actually just plastic boning because I'm a broke cosplayer. And so I just needed to get some boning. I don't know how much I needed, so I just got a lot. And then for me, I will be using ribbon instead of bias tape. Hooray! So let's continue onward, shall we? So you'll see that I'm going down the front middle seam first. This is because this is really necessary for holding up the bodice and making sure that it doesn't fall down. I haven't cut the ribbon just yet because I wanted to go all the way down first instead of being too short. I'm not going all the way to the crotch line, but I'm going a little past my belly button. Once I get all the way down on the ribbon, I'm going to turn the fabric and then I'm going to sew it again. And this time I'm going to secure it really well just in case the boning wants to pop out. And then I'm going to go back all the way up, but I'm not going to close the boning casing until I add the boning in. Now I just need to do this to all the other seams and make sure that the seams will lay flat first, and if I need to, I need to cut them again. I'm not putting the boning casing all the way to the top seam line because I still need to attach it to the main shell and then flip it inside out. You want the boning to fit inside and not poke out because that will be uncomfortable. Voila! This is all the boning channels inside, and now I just need to cut the boning and put it in. The boning I'm using is plastic boning. I don't have a problem with it. I'm used to using this one the most, honestly, and it's very forgiving versus spiral or steel. So first I'm going to use the giant roll and slowly feed it into the middle seam first. Once I get to a point where I think it's perfect, I pull down the seam about like an inch or so, and then I cut it off. I want to do this because I already have it inside, I know it fits, and if it's too much then it's like not a bad measurement. Then I'm going to go ahead and sew it down. I'm sewing it down immediately, that way I don't forget what I've already put in. This front piece is actually the easiest because it's only one piece of boning that is required. Now for the other ones, I'm going to repeat the same process by putting in the boning into the channel and then cutting it. Once I have that length, I'm going to cut it a second time. This is so that it matches the other side of the bunny suit. Now I'll be putting in both pieces of boning and then I will be sewing it down. After doing that a lot more times, I came out with no extra boning left over, and it fits all of the pieces in my bunny suit lining. It looks really good, and this is going to provide the structure that I need to keep this from falling down and supporting the corset lacing. Now that I have the lining completely done, now I need to attach it to the front bunny suit piece. So I'm going to make sure it lines up at the bodice crest seam and all the other seams. Hopefully I did everything correctly. All my seams were sewn at a 5/8 inch seam allowance. I went ahead and sewed all the way around the bunny suit first and not the crotch seams. I wanted to make sure that it's still open so I can turn it right sides out, and making sure that the back pieces are sewn together so I can add it in easily. I did not have enough boning to do the back piece completely, so it might be a little flimsy when I wear it and lace it up. Now I'm going to just go ahead and top stitch the top part down. I messed up here and I made it a little bit too far from where I wanted it to lay, so I went back and seam ripped it, and now I'll be re-sewing it closer to the edge. I realized here that I'm a little bit off of the pattern instructions, and I just wanted to do it a way that I'm comfortable doing it. You don't have to follow pattern's instructions completely correctly, but I just wanted to give that little disclaimer. Here I'm cutting off a little bit of the excess seam at the bottom so it's not too bulky, so I can do the leg holes. I am going to baste down these two pieces together, that way it does not shift when I want to hem it. So the pattern says to use bias tape for the leg holes. I'm actually going to be using this really pretty lace ribbon. I don't have a lot of it, so I'm just going to use as much as I can by cutting it in half and sewing it onto the leg holes. So I'm going to place the lace edging at the edge of the line, and I'm going to sew it down. Once I've sewn the lace down on both sides, I'm going to flip the lace over and then I'm going to sew it in. This is going to act like hem tape or a single fold bias tape. I think this will be actually a really cute addition because it is lace and it's a bunny suit, so it'll have a little bit of extra flair not only with the lining, but with the leg holes as well. Once I finish with the leg holes, now I'm going to be hand sewing in some hook and eyes at the crotch seams. The crotch seams, I went ahead and I serged the edges, and I didn't want to make them any smaller and bulky, so I just left them where they are, and now I'm sewing the hook and eye. It's black, so it is difficult to see, and I'm using black thread, so sorry about that. You'll just have to take my word for it. So before we get to the grommets on the lacing, I forgot about this modesty panel in the back, so I'm going to be doing that now. Once again, I do not have any interfacing, so I'm just going to be sewing this down and having it just to have it. This shape is basically a rectangle where I sewed enough sides and then I turned it inside out to have the seams on the inside, and now I'm top stitching it. Honestly, this should have interfacing, but again, I do not have any. Before I can even add that last piece, I need to go in and mark where my holes are going to be for my corset lacing. I poked holes into the pattern piece with a little needle. Now I'll be marking lightly with a silver marker. Because I don't have any chalk at the moment at my desk, I was too lazy to get anything else, so I'll be using this silver marker. You can already see that it is very visible, so I'll continue doing that until I finish on both sides. Once again, I highly recommend you use trained tools such as marking pencils or chalk so you actually don't end up messing up your material. So originally I was going to embroider the eyelets in, but I'll be using these grommets instead. I tested it out on a scrap piece of fabric and I think I got the hang of it. So I used a seam ripper first to make a small hole, and then I used this grommet hole puncher kind of thing to create the grommet inside the piece of fabric. Now it's time to actually put it into the bunny suit. So I'm going to have to find up all the holes and make sure that they're aligned on both sides. If not, I'm going to have some discrepancy. In total, I think I had to do about 16 eyelets, so that's 8 on each side. After I did all the eyelets, I made sure to hand sew that little back piece in, and I was good to go. So here are my pros and cons and the review of the overall pattern. My pros are I feel and look amazing. I really like the shape that it came out to be. It gives me a perfect hourglass like I was hoping. It really does give me that bunny suit look. I haven't used anyone else's bunny suits, but for my first bunny suit pattern that I'm reviewing on my channel, I think it's really great and I really like it. So it fits well. The construction overall, if I had paid true to her instructions with the interfacing and bias taping, I think I would have got a different result, but I think it looks really great. I have to admit, like, for a commercial pattern, it is true to like my entire body size. My con about this is that I did the D-cup pattern and it is not true to my breast size. So my breasts actually have a little bit of space and wiggle room here. So I should have gone smaller on my bust size overall because there's about maybe 3 inches overall that need to be taken in, or I can wear a bra to kind of push that out so it fits better and kind of give the oomph that my ladies need. When I first put it on, it was definitely difficult to button my crotch. It was definitely difficult to lace up. But in the pattern, to be fair, I only used 1 string. No, you need 2 strings. The pattern specifically says 2 strings for that reason. I went back and checked the pattern and I highly recommend using 2 strings because that's what it says. And you should definitely stick closer to the pattern. The one thing that I did do differently was the leg holes. I am very proud of the leg holes. I think they look great. They don't look funny to me. I definitely recommend this pattern to any intermediate or advanced seamstresses or seamsters. What do they call male sewers? Leave me a comment down below telling me what they should be called. Are they tailors? Overall, I think this is a great fit. I like it. The corset lacing is perfect where it is. I tried my hardest to get it symmetrical and putting the dots where they need to be. And I think it laces just fine. If you don't know who Yaya is, she's actually a really big cosplayer in the world. She does patterns, she does fabrics, she has trim and sewing notions, and she has her own cosplay accessory line and she sells prints. She's also been on TV a few times. I really admire her work and her cosplay career where it's taken her. So if you want, you can just search Yaya and you'll find out who she is. I've met her a few times. I like her. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. This video is not sponsored in any way, but I do love Yaya, her products, her career, charisma, and she's a really wonderful cosplayer. I hope you guys look her up in your free time. If you want, I can leave links down below. And make sure to check out what I recommend here on YouTube or see what YouTube says you should be watching. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Stay inspired, be creative, and I will see you in another video. Bye!